Hallelujah. Bless you, saints. Public at large. Well, y'all may not know this, but I'm from North Carolina. And we recently had a vote about gay marriage on our ballot. I have been absolutely inundated on Facebook. People calling me, people in the community. You see, I'm not what you would consider left or right. I'm in this world, but not of it. I'm a person of faith, Hebrew Israelite faith, the faith of the Bible, follower of Christ, the Messiah. So I can unilaterally upset just about anyone that is not founded in the truth of this book. But I have an idea. All this upsetness about and raging about gay marriage. First off, I'm going to speak on gay marriage just for 1 second. It's amazing to me that in every state that it comes up on the ballot, nearly every time it's on a ballot, it gets voted down and defeated, in crazy margins. But the media regularly tells us that it's overwhelmingly supported by the majority of people. So the media is lying, or the votes are rigged, or both, a little A and B. But I think it's more media liars. They're pushing their agenda. Something else on that same subject, and then I'm going to move on to something else real quick, is yesterday, Barry Hussein, Barack Hussein Obama, or Barry, changed his stance. On Facebook, people I have known for, 10, 12 years, did more than insinuated that I was a homophobic bigot trying to force my views on other people because I voted my faith and my conscience about keeping the North Carolina law what it has been since this state was a colony. Law did not change. Search North Carolina general statutes and you'll find that the law did not change. It just moved into the Constitution, so some wayward judge just couldn't set it aside. It takes a little more effort. Has to be proven unconstitutional. Okay, so Barry, Barack Hussein, changed his stance yesterday from his stated stance that marriage should be protected. That's what he said to get elected. Back when he was trying to be the moderate, semi-conservative adult in the room, then that's what he thought. But now he's elected, and now he's running for re-election. He's kind of like checking the temperature. He's like, oh, a lot of outcry that North Carolina, had a voice and took a state's right and exercised it. And so, but what's amazing there is yesterday he got behind. He took Dick Cheney's view. I thought Dick Cheney was the devil, and everybody hated Dick Cheney. And anything he did was Halliburton tainted. So I wonder why. Oh, that's right. Barry can do that. Barry can flip-flop, and it's good. That means Barry is smart and enlightened. What's interesting was, until he flip-flopped, I hadn't heard one person say Barry was a bigoted, homophobic, Bible-thumping, self-righteous, whatever. I didn't hear any of that. All I hear is how, he's trying, he's doing his best, and he's turning things. Anyway. All right, so I'm done with Barry. Barack. Mr. Hussein Obama there, whatever you want to call him. I got some things I call him other than that, but we'll leave that to be. Okay, so how do we fix the marriage issue? Get ready, because this was going to blind you. It's a tax issue. The problem is it's a tax issue. Me and my wife are married. We have 6 children. Okay, got a news flash for you. We get a tax break because we're married. We get tax credits because we have children. Let me tell you what that means. That means if you're not married, you're paying a tax penalty for not being married. That means if you don't have children, you're paying me to have children. Did you hear me? You're paying me. You're writing me a check to have children. Oh, wait a minute. You never thought about that, huh? Well, you think about it. You get that tax credit for your children, earned income tax credit, I think it's called. I don't know, $1,000, $1,500 a kid. Everybody that has a kid, you writing them a check. Why is that? Well, because the government has an interest in families marrying, producing offspring to add to society. So let's get out of that business. It's a tax problem. If we don't have to pay you to be married, if you don't have to pay me to be married with a tax break, and you don't have to pay me to have children, that's kind of weird. That's like, just, if you think about it, that's just odd all the way around. But they say, oh, we have to because, see, the tax burden is so high that these families can, whoa, wait a minute, tax burden is so high? Oh, how about this? How about let's put taxes at an appropriate level so that the 99% doesn't have to pay for the 1% that have kids and are married. You know what? I'm obviously spoofing the Occupy movement there. But why not have everybody pay a fair share? A fair share. You know what? And then you don't need a marriage license. You don't have to be married. Of course, there'll be a legal thing that you do. You file a document, that doesn't require a license. You know what? If me and my friend, I don't know, let me come up with an example. Me and my friend, Pastor Dow, Charles Dow out in Tennessee, if I decide that I want to leave Pastor my truck when I die, and I want him to be able to come visit me in the hospital if I get sick, and I want him to decide if they pull the plug on me, do you know I do not have to marry him? We do not have to run off to California or New York and get married. I can very simply, in my own handwriting, I hereby bequeath my truck, VIN number, to who I'm leaving it to, sign it, get a witness, 2 witnesses is better, get it notarized, and leave copies where they're appropriate. Wow, taken care of. I can have a durable power of attorney, a medical power of attorney, put that in his name, do the same sort of, no, we ain't got to go before a judge. We ain't got to pay a lawyer $10 million. Sorry, lawyers. No need to start foaming at the mouth. It's called self-help legal. It's very easy. Of course, now, lawyers don't want you to know that, and self-help legal companies don't want you to know that. But do you know that long before there was a lawyer under every rock in the United States, people died and they didn't lose their stuff? It went where they wanted it to go. That's amazing, isn't it? So let's get the government out of the business of taxing you, taking your money by force under the threat of death. That everything the government does is under the threat, ultimately, of death. If you refuse to pay your taxes, they will send someone to forcibly take you into custody at some point. If you resist them over taxes with force, they will execute you. You will die. So, if we simply move this convoluted tax prostitution ring we have going on where, hey, man, I really want people who watch YouTube to vote for me. But I know I'm not going to be able to get everybody who don't like YouTube to just pay the people on YouTube. So what I'll do is I'll give everybody who watches YouTube a $5,000 tax credit to help pay for their internet. And then because the people that are asleep through life and just kind of bebob along, doing whatever the guy in front of them does, they don't see it come out of their paycheck. They don't know what it's going for. It's just not there when they get it. So, oh, yeah, I made $2,500, $2,600 last month, but I only brought home $900 because I'm a single person with no kids. Wow. He doesn't realize that he's paying everybody in the office. I mean, he's the fool for everybody in the office because his money is buying everybody's vote except his because he's single with no kids. Okay. So get this out. Get these subsidy craps out of the tax code. Hey, I'm not saying that the government doesn't have a vested interest in helping, a family making $40,000 a year with 4 kids. Hey, if you want to give them $1,500 tax credit, $200 tax credit, $10,000 subsidy, I don't care what it is, however much that we decide, then Congress, you do know Congress, right? They have to talk about it out in the open. They have to decide, bicker, vote, put their name in the book on one side or the other. I said give YouTubers $5,000. I said not to. And then we cut them a check, and it's a budgeted item so we can see where that money is going instead of sweeping it under the rug and buying votes invisibly. While meanwhile, in creating, just the architect of chaos is in charge of our government. We just create chaos. All this marriage crap. Government has no business in marriage to start with. Zero business do they have in marriage. They have no business in that institution. Now, they certainly have a business in contractual matters, overseeing them. You don't have to have the government to have a contract, only to enforce it once there's a breach. Isn't that amazing? I can enter 10,000 contracts up here. I got several, probably a lot of contracts, less than a dozen, but that I'm in with people. Generally, they're like this. Sometimes, some of them are written right on a piece of paper. They get a copy, I get a copy, witnessed in a file cabinet. The government is not involved in it. But see, the problem is we've turned our sovereignty. We are sovereign individuals. We have inalienable rights. And instead of acting like independent, responsible adults, we've relinquished everything to the government. Oh, I want to make sure that, whatever. So you go to the government and get them to use their power to enforce it. And there's a place for, like disputes. It's called tort law. It's just if there's a contract problem. You have problems with anyone, anytime, anything, we always want to turn to the government. Work it out as best you can. And if you can't, turn to appropriate. But they have no business in marriage, and they have no business taking money through taxation to buy votes of married people with kids. They're denying these tax breaks to homosexual couples. They're denying these tax breaks to Mormons. They want to have multiple marriages. If just, according to everything I hear, the Mormons are saying, nope, we don't do it anymore. But then, I don't know. I see some of them doing it, so that's a lie. Okay, well, be encouraged. Let's address our federal government and their spending. If we can get them out of trying to buy every vote in the bungalow, we'll be a lot better off in general. Get them out of agriculture. Get them out of food. Get them out of marriage. Get them out of kids. Get them out of the Department of Education. Get them out, these matters which are not left to them, were not left to them in the Constitution. They're not doing us any favors by taking our freedoms and buying our votes with money they don't have, that they're borrowing, that we're going to have to pay back at some point. All right, that's about my thoughts on that. Be encouraged. The king is coming.